Hello, my name is Ariya from Department of Landscape Architecture, 20Nov2021. Today's presentation will be about the landscape architecture education in Asia Pacific region, and I would like to explain about my experience. 20Nov2021 landscape architecture program is already about fourth decade, and we're going to move toward the fifth decade. So I would like to share the experience with you. The content of my today presentation will be about Chulalongkorn is the eldest brothers of the 8 university that teach landscape architecture in Thailand. Our education network, including THALA, Thai Association of Landscape Architects, as a committee of members of IFRA, that the THALA is part of that, our friend. And our network, including the 8 institute, Chulalongkorn University is one of that, and our profession are among the 4 brothers. We are landscape architecture, and we have the other 3: architecture, interior architecture, urban architecture or urban design. I would like to explain about the education in the past and the present and what's going to be in the future. And this is the history, the timeline of our landscape architecture education in Thailand. Now we have 8 institutes, as I told you before, and Chulalongkorn founded by Professor Desha Bunkam, the Professor Emeritus of Landscape Architecture from Chulalongkorn. Landscape Architecture program started under Faculty of Architecture in 1978, and it is, of course, first Bachelor in Landscape Architecture program in Thailand, and we have a 5-year program. About 10 years later, THALA has been founded by the same Professor Desha Bunkam, and in 1995, Major University, the agriculture school, start to have the 5-year landscape architecture program. In 2002, เกษตรศาสตร์ or agriculture university in Thailand offer the bachelor in landscape architecture 5-year program. 4 years later, Thammasat University, they concerned about very high demand of landscape architecture profession, so they produce a 4-year program, and like now is the only first and the only 4-year program among the others 8 institutes. Later, Mahasakram University, the first northeastern part of Thailand landscape architecture program start in 2010, and then 2013, both the university King Mongkut Institute of Technology, Lat Krabang, and Chiang Mai University start to draft the curriculum and the program in 2019. Unfortunately, Chiang Mai University start admission in 2017. During that time, about the year 2000, is very high demand both for university and profession, that we would like to have more landscape architects and more the graduate students from this landscape architecture program. So Chulalongkorn University and Silpakorn University start to have the first MLA program in 1999 and 2009. And then we would like to customize the course and to fit our society. Then we have เกษตรศาสตร์ University in 2019. เกษตรศาสตร์ University originally they have 2 landscape architecture program undergraduate in 2002, but later in 2019 they offer the graduate study in MLA and PhD in landscape architecture, and it's the only program that could offer the PhD, but still not yet many of the PhD students. And just last year, 2020, King Mongkut University, Thonburi, offered the first international program undergraduate level in landscape architecture. I would like to explain to you about the 3E concept in landscape architecture profession in Thailand. So as I told you, we are among the others profession under the Architect Council of Thailand. So Thailand support landscape architecture profession. So under the same umbrella as the Association of Architects, Urban Architects, and Interior Architects Association. The acts have to accredit our education program. After that, the student who graduate from the accredited program will be able to apply for the license examination, and then after that they would like to upgrade their license. They have to show their experience, including the CPD, that the 3E. And this is our university. 20Nov2021 University has been ranked number 11 in the world city centers campus location in the green matrix from UI, University of Indonesia. Education, we have quite a very high score. The first one, Leiden University, have only the score in education 1425, but 20Nov2021 University have the program, the education program that support the green matrix 1725. So, and in 2017, 20Nov20 Centennial Park have been opened, and the park is an example of a very nice design landscape architecture, and the park acts as the detention area. And how the landscape architect who designed the park, she's the alumni of our school. She calculated the amount of water according to the 100-year rain, and including many classrooms that the students can enjoy the activity in the park. And I think it's one of the most outstanding projects that caused Gotchakon, the designer, become Thai landscape architecture celebrities worldwide. She is now the chair lady of the climate change committee in IFA world level. In 2016, as you see from the photo up here, we have one student and 3 alumni that got the award in ASLA, Student Award and Professional Award. And this is the example of our student work in 2016. She got the award of excellence, the first prize. One of the jurors says this was the project here where my face was restored. Her project is about the amphibious culture, the harmonizing between life and seasonal forest. And this is her drawing to explain about the dynamics of the water. And not only that, as a member of the IFRA, and this is one of my paper presentation. So you can click at the link down there. I think the organizer going to give you the slide that I'm feel free to check on that. And this is some photo of our award winning the library, the location where we make the presentation of our 5 university workshop with Istanbul Technical University, University of Seoul, Tokyo City University and THEI from Hong Kong. And this is this year virtual exhibition because of the COVID, the pandemic. We cannot make the on-site workshop, so we make the online, and this is the production of our online workshop. The students working together and produce design project, and the exhibition also include in the link over there, so you can walk through and you can do our student work from 5 universities. The style and the approach in the landscape architecture teaching and the training. In the old day, we start with the art bazaars and the paysages and the home stadium, and focus more about the beautification. The second movement so we study about the modernism. Berlima, Garrett Expo, and Dan Carey were the some of the landscape architects that during that approach. Later, the landscape alchemy that Hargrave talk mentioned in 2009, and later design with nature. Actually, design with nature was our approach since Ian McHugh in 1969, but the ecological approach and sustainable design, the approach that we still continue focus on that. And now we come to the approach of eclecticism, which is the integration of multidisciplinary science that I would like to show you some examples. The left side, you can see Frederick Law Olmsted, the Olmstedian that we start. And the one who stand in the photos with Desha Bunkam, the founder of our landscape department, is Professor Carl Steiner, that I will discuss about him later. And Design with Nature start in 1969, Maintaining the Spirit of Place, Harry Garner, and Landscape Alchemy, and also the books that George Hargrave. And this is about the approach from Professor Carl Steiner. He tried to explain the role of landscape architect in different scales to understand the nature. And he also mentioned about Ian McHugh and also the style of GIS and the layer of things that the integration of the science, and also about the public policy, the public understanding, the people participation, and the politics. So this is the design profession. It's not only how the beautiful it is, but it's the layer of different things that Professor Carl Steiner would like to introduce. So I think nowadays we think the ecological and environment planning is very important and very strong relationship, and play very important role with the landscape architecture profession. Cultural landscape is also very important. Edutainment landscape, in order to push the awareness about the green movement, education is very important. Biophilia, everybody may familiar with that. Biofuel mitigation, not only the technical biofuel engineering mitigation, but also how to make the biofuel mitigation more ecological friendly. Urban landscape, the urban will play the role in the urban heat island, about the climate change, and urban agriculture, the forestry, tropical landscape, healing landscape, the green and blue infrastructure, and some others, 17 global goals of SDGs. And this is about my research in thermal comfort, urban heat island. And this is more like the application of the agriculture and also horticulture, abolish the how to reclaim the land and project in Thailand. Follow the Dr. Akira Miyawaki reforestation technique in Toyota factory. So, and later the project that won 2016 award, PTT Metal Forest. The project also used the Miyawaki theory. So they explain about how the reforestation have been taking place, have been reclaiming the land within 36 or about 3 years. So from the dump site to the forest. And this is how to work on the water management for the irrigation and how to grow the forest in the very short period. And now this book also won the SLA award. Phyto remediation is about the techniques that and landscape architects have to think about that. Professor Neil Kirkwood, the authors of this book, what he talked about this book. The book talk about how to fight with the contamination in the soil and using in the water and using the plant. So you can see that the project in landscape architecture nowadays have different approach. That's why we think it's going to be the future of our education. The project from my student on the river, and because of the failure of the embankment and the structure have been collapsed. So he would like to understand what happened. So he analyzed, this is the first picture, the second picture, the third picture. So he found that because of the water level have been changed during very high tide and very low tide and the structure cannot resist the very difference of the high tide, and you can see from this one. And what caused the high tide is about the moon, the waning moon and the waxing moon that caused the difference of the water. So this is the nature phenomenon that affect the structure. The other was about water, the dynamic of the water. The water is life. We living with water. How the agriculture and from this picture. So the agro-wisdom, edible forest was one of the concept or the approach of how to do the tourism development. And this is what the gastronomy tourism approach in landscape architecture development. And this is the research about how to understand the nature of the dry season, the rainy season, what the nature and the season cause the waters. And I will go to the very last part of the how to predict the future of landscape education. This slide by Christopher Chase in 2014. I think this is a very good picture that represents the landscape architecture are in the ecological approach. So human and the others, the surrounding and the environment become the holistic, become the same picture. But ecological means people, human is the top of the pyramid. So this one is the more individualism. So nowadays, the biophilia is the approach that our department trying to focus in very near future. We teach the student, we give some explanation, and we publish some papers. This is what the book and also the journal that. And for the conclusion, I would like to show you our curriculum goals and what we found. As the example, I would like to draw to the conclusion that the future of landscape architecture education in Asia Pacific region toward the next decade should be something that produce the intelligent landscape architecture student. We should be scholarly educators that can practice without border networking. The reason why I think it's very important to work together to serve locally with the other school, other education network, and link globally to the other countries. The most important thing, I think, the integrative and adaptive and the resilient design and planning is very important. So I would like to thank you for your listening, and I think I will end up my presentation here. Thank you.